Hello, everyone. Welcome to Arbitrage Trade Analytics. I am Royce Wells, and it is November 28th, 2021. It's right after Thanksgiving. There were a lot of fireworks at Thanksgiving. All the cryptocurrency market, all the U.S. stock market, as well as the Forex market, all had a very rapid, very sudden decline. If you were not watching the charts and if you were not privileged enough to have our dash indicator. So I'm going to start off by basically recapping what happened on the cryptocurrency side because the cryptocurrency market is still moving. On the right-hand side, we are looking at the weekly time frame, and we're looking at our arbitrage band, which usually is good for about a 1 to 3 month trade on a weekly time frame. So we've been watching this guy, and so far, Bitcoin has been able to more or less hold the buy trend that has been in place for quite some time. Let me basically turn on a little foreshadowing by turning this guy down to the daily to see if there were any indications of possible exits or leaving. And yeah, with this set for the foreshadowing. So if I'm on my weekly time frame, I have my Atlas set to my daily in RSI. It's able to show me when things are happening on the daily time frame, so I can see it on the weekly time frame, so I can plan accordingly. So about 2 weeks ago, we got an X on the weekly time frame, letting us know that basically we should have been selling Bitcoin, and so we did. It roughly has fallen about 9K or so far since then, and we're trying to see if it will be able to hold up and hold the compass line. Bitcoin needs to hold this compass line. That's its first line of support, that blue line. So it touching that line, if you're watching this guy, a lot of people are predicting a correction in the cryptocurrency market. I'm not opposed to that. But I do see that the RSI line is sneaking out of the danger zone on the weekly time frame. And so far, we're still in that sweet spot, but if only barely. Let me also set my dash to make sure that we are looking at the right stuff on the right time frame. I have my time frame locked, and we're looking at the weekly time frame. The RSI is just barely green, and this guy is just barely green. They're still holding on. So we're in a weak uptrend, but it's still technically an uptrend until we actually break underneath that compass line on our weekly chart. For the person who's swing trading this and possibly day trading this, the 1 minute and the 15-minute apocalypse bands have been basically being very nice to us, letting us know, hey, over here, a sell trend was starting, and we were able to monopolize all the way down to the Z. Basically, we are waiting for either an O or another red X to appear to let us get our next leg. I do see a reset happen. If you guys wondering what a reset is, by my definition, basically, if I'm following the X's, I want to see at least another green X followed by another red X before I re-enter the trend. So the ride I took from here to here, I have not been in this guy, shorting this guy. I'm literally waiting for the next red X because I'm underneath this line. So I have to have a full reset. It has to get all the way back to my green X and then turn red again before I'm willing to put my money back in to continue to short this guy. Meanwhile, looking at Ethereum basically did the exact same thing. It has a green X right here, but I'm looking for a reset. I'm not looking for an uptrend. The only thing that will make me get into an uptrend is this new thing that's on Dash 2.0. Basically, we brought the Z scores in for basically the band that you never see, plus the Z for that band. As long as this guy is under 25%, we're not trying to get a buy trend. If he should, however, make it above 25%, I would consider more likely that a small rally might actually occur. So, but we need both of these guys to be green to get us there. And so far, automation is saying, no, we have mixed signals. And until both of them are in the green, we can't touch it. But we're not that far. Also notice that that 41.43 is sitting right next to that 41.44. So for the 15-minute chart, we might get a little bit of a rally from Ethereum looking at the automation side for a quick win, but don't basically sit in there and think you can forget about it. All right. Looking at Crow, Crow has already said that we should be able to get in. Both turned green, both were 25%. This guy has been wavering. He is still is an uptrend. So basically, we're watching him closely to see what else is going to happen. The RSI for people who are day trading this cryptocurrency, maybe you guys are still sitting good. You haven't topped out over 70%, so life is still good. And we're still riding. Nothing's in danger. A few hours ago, 68 cent was in danger, and basically it went down and touched that and came back up. I think somewhere over here. Yep. Was in danger, came back up. The dashboard basically lets us know what's going on. And the coolest thing about this thing are the fact that we now have alerts. We just upgraded because TradingView just upgraded. And basically release a new version of their Pine editor. In the new version of the Pine editor, they've made it allow for us to do this. Instead of us having you guys having to go set all of the criteria that you want, technically you have an all-on button now. It's called any alert functions call. So it means if I set an alert anywhere in the script at all for where basically best practices, I would say, something is changing, like the RSI is changing or the arbitrage band is changing or anything is changing, as long as you have any alert function call turned on, it'll automatically send you whatever alert telling you whatever it needs to tell you at that time, whether you should get into a buy or getting into a sell. So we're trying to basically simplify what you have to do and basically make your alerts where you only have to turn on one thing and then you are ready to trade. Right? No, Jason, there is not. There is a Dash Junior. The Dash Junior, it is a smaller subset of the current Dash. And that guy, he will not have all the same functionality, but he may have some of the functionality. So we'll see. We'll see where we land with that. As I continue to add features, we'll see. Because typically I do release an indicator around the Christmas time from the intermediate down to the novice, but we'll see if this one is ready for prime time. Basically, to be ready, I have to make sure that all my back tests and everything have finished for it to make it down there, and the accuracy, because I want easy wins, nice base runs at the novice levels, and for those people who want to dig deeper into the woods or weeds rather. You can upgrade to the intermediate and see a few more tools that we have that are available. I'm going to keep on going. We're going to go look at Cardano. Cardano has been trying. It's been trying very hard to make its way back up. This is a swing trade on this guy. It triggered a Z right at about 12:30 today Central Time, and basically it's trying to pick itself up. It got down to 141. Through a Z and said, okay, let's try to pick itself back up. If you're trading on the smallest band that we're talking about here, you're already in the trade and looks like it's traveling a little bit too fast because Z Pro is almost at 70%. Anytime it gets above 70%, that basically will trigger that it should be almost time to sell. So this guy is pushing his envelope because of how fast he's moving from where he was. Basically, you want an uptrend to be nice and slow so that way you don't have to think about it. Meanwhile, Doge is in the same arena. Basically, it had a bounce a little bit later, about 12, a little bit earlier rather, by 11:45. And basically it's trying to bounce, but it is moving slower, and slower means it more than likely will succeed where Cardano may not because it's moving too quickly. Looking at Litecoin is another one that basically it's another cryptocurrency, and it is trying to get up there. Automation is saying, well, we're about halfway there. It's about a 13% chance that we're going to make it there. but we're still sitting underneath that 197. So at least it at least has to make it to 197 for automation to try to trip us into this trade. Meanwhile, looking at the smaller bands, if you're opportunist and you basically were looking at just the RSI or the arbitrage, yeah, you got an entry signal and you were able to play from where it told you you could get in. So where we really are liking the signals, and I know a lot of people when you first join, it's like, okay, there's this, and I can set this, and I can set that. We're working very diligently to make it just an easy button, so that way all you have to do is literally you sign up for arbitrage, you turn on your alerts, and then you just wait. Fill up your basket with whatever you want to watch or play, and then the rest is just make money. Let's go look at Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu joined with someone from Activision. He used to be the VP of sales at Activision, and apparently there's a new video game that's coming out that's going to incorporate Shiba Inu into it. That's what the buzz is on the interwebs, I guess, right now. So basically, we're still watching this to see if he has anywhere to go. A few hours ago, this guy was sitting down here. He basically satisfied that 39 support area. So now we're trying to see if he's going to try to pick himself up. If you're being an opportunist and you're watching basically RSI band, you're already in this guy because the compass line has moseyed up and basically is trying to get above on the 15-minute chart. The arbitrage band is not far behind it. And as soon as both of those are up, you might actually get a little bit of a rise from Shiba Inu. All right, Sol USD. Sol USD, you can't keep a good dog down. This guy, he is trying his best to get back into an uptrend. This guy has been as high as $260 within the last few weeks. So like not even very far. I want to say, yeah, 21st, last week, it was up at 238-ish. So basically, he's trying to maintain the trend that he is in on the weekly time frame. However, we are watching as he slowly gives up the ghost. He got up here too quickly, and basically, I want to see him touch somewhere around 140 before I even consider touching him again. But if you're not planning on being in this particular cryptocurrency that long, you're just trying to ride the volatility, hey, have at it. The 15-minute chart is looking good for at least a rebound into this afternoon. Link USD. Once again, watching this guy. Weekly time frame, he threw an O 3 weeks ago. He threw an X last week, and now we have our red triangle. And we got basically, he's not quite in the sweet spot. So basically, he's trying to trade water, but it's not looking very promising. Once again, if you're basically just day trading this guy, lots of volatility to be able to make you at least $1 or so every day or so, basically as it ebbs and flows on the arbitrage band on the 15-minute. But longer term, I'm expecting more down than up from Link USD at this point in time. Gala, I'm not sure if you guys played Gala or not. That Gala was one of the better ones that we recently played. We got an alert from the system when this guy was sitting at 0.093, and over the last 5 or 6 weeks, he basically just was riding up. He eventually crescendoed at about 85 cents and is coming down now. There's not enough data on this guy to predict where or how far. I don't even see where the compass line because he is that new. We were watching this guy on the 15-minute chart and was able to monopolize on this. But until we can get more data on this guy, I think the ride is pretty much over unless you guys know of another way or basically are playing on a smaller time frame. And I guess we could look at the 4-hour, but once again, so that means, yeah, it is slowly. The arbitrage band on the 4-hour time frame is like, yep, we're underneath this compass line. We are in the danger zone. We need to hold 59 cents for Gala to be more viable. And so far, no dice. All right. So looking at HNT USD. HNT is the Helium network. also known as the People's Network. Their intent is to spread radio or mini radio towers across the country and basically build a network for cellular and radio frequency communications for the Internet of Things. So that means like smart TVs and your Alexas and your Google Voices and all those other good things. They're trying to basically put the power into people's hands by letting them mine cryptocurrency with these little bitty boxes. And so far, they ran into a few hiccups.
That's good defense.
And in those hiccups, basically that their network has gone down a couple of times, but they have been able to get it back up, make it pass their proof of coverage. I think they're on proof of coverage version 11 of their protocol right now, and maybe 12 is coming out soon. There's even a talk about a helium split, possibly a 10,000 to 1, to basically give the people who are mining a bigger, better chance at grabbing coins as they basically shrink their price back to under $1 so they have room to grow again. So strange things are going on with this particular cryptocurrency, but it is definitely not dormant. Meanwhile, looking at this guy on the daily time frame, he made it all the way up to $58 at the very beginning of November, and I believe that was right around the helium track announcement. Basically, they were bringing more hotspots to the network, and more chips were available. So they were giving out hotspots. These guys, they have a lot going for them. Basically, they're trying to share the wealth by basically making the barriers to entry to get miners go down. If it works, great. If you guys don't mind sharing, hey, there's everyone gets to make money. However, if you guys do want to buy your own helium miner, you can probably find a helium miner on Amazon or any other place. That basically all you have to do is look for helium miner on Google, and there are places to find them if you want to try to mine this particular coin. All right. Let's go back and talk about some of the things that we talked about last week. And that's basically cryptocurrency sneaking in to the foreign exchange market. So we have the Australian dollar versus the US dollar tethered. There is a discrepancy that's currently going on. If you look at AUD USD on Awanda versus what is showing on the crypto side, there is at least a 50, if I'm not mistaken, 50, 60, 70 pip difference from what's there and what's here. And so basically, I want to see if this guy, if the real pair, the Forex pair, touches the crypto pairs anywhere in the near future. And that gap has been shrunk considerably because AUD USD was over 200 pips away. Now it's only 60 or 70. So we're watching these pairs very closely. The gap between GBP USD is still over 200. Let's see. Yeah, it's still over 200 pips from the cryptocurrency version of the pair as well. So I'm watching these guys real close to see if they're going to allow them to meet, match, touch, and get in sync. If there is, that means there's plenty of money for everybody between here and there. So may as well take it. It's yours to have. Looking at this guy, this is Doge Elon. It is trying to be a coin that basically, I believe there's a lot of hype in it. I do believe that it's actually not associated with Elon Musk at all. I think this was a cash grab attempt, like when people started buying up all of the domain names and then hoping that the person who really wants the domain name will try to buy it off of them. This coin is rumored to be basically, it's named after Elon Musk. And they're hoping that basically he picks it up, buys, I guess 100 billion or something of the coin, and then you can buy Teslas with Elon's because, what universe, who wouldn't want to see that, right? So that's this guy. You can get this guy on crypto.com. You can get this guy on Uniswap, and I think I even saw him on Bittrex, but I haven't seen him anywhere else. So basically, it's really hard and really it takes a lot of hurdles to actually find this coin to be able to play this coin if you're interested in playing this coin. Let's switch over to my orange list, which is my Forex list, and let's go see what's been going on with the dollar. So far, dollar had a very, very bad day. On the 4-hour chart, he is trying to basically start a downtrend. Compass line is literally testing that area. But the good thing is that the RSI has already gone down far enough. He should be able to hold this because Z Pro is sitting in the high 60%, which means he got down to about 70+% in that wick and is slowly pulling himself back up. With that being said, I'm expecting that the dollar basically it dips, holds this line, and continues up. So it means I'm still expecting definitely more up for the dollar. It just had to cool off. So on the daily time frame, he reached that apex. That green dollar sign said, hey, expect a pullback. And the very next day, literally, he lost about 70, 80 cents of his value and came back up to only lose about 70 cents total. But meanwhile, Z Pro is saying, hey, we're still sitting on top of the sweet spot. Even with that cool off candle, it's still smooth sailing because we are still sitting on top and have over a 43% chance for more up. Looking at this guy on the weekly time frame, he did push. This week this past week it was a doji, so it means basically lots of people trying to decide what the price should be, and where he opened and where he closed were pretty much within cents of each other. So with it being within cents of each other, it basically shows there's lots of indecision on which way it will possibly go. But once again, from where we're sitting, Z is a little bit high. It is above that 70 threshold. So basically, we're watching this guy to see if he can continue to push this way. Because this doji is here, that basically allowed the candles to get bigger, which should allow the band to expand. We should literally see from that move, it did allow it to expand a little bit. So I want to see where it goes from here. I'm also, because I'm a curious person, I'm going to go look at the novice band, which is one frequency higher. And looking at this guy, arbitrage, the center of the arbitrage band is sitting at the bottom of the novice band. This is literally the beginning of an uptrend, not the end of one. So basically, we have a lot more room to go, and we just got to basically buckle up for the ride. DXY should not let us down. We should get the inflation that we need, which should allow the markets to continue to go up, at least for the U.S. currency and the U.S. markets. Meanwhile, let's go look at AXY. AXY is sitting in the exact opposite place for this. Right now, he's oversold on the weekly time frame, trying to basically hold the novice band center line. But us being down this low, he's sitting where he needs to be for a downtrend to succeed longer term. So are we at the end of this downtrend that we're seeing on AUD USD? No way, no way, no way. On the weekly time frame, I'm expecting literally AUD and all of the AUD pairs to basically continue sinking over the next few weeks going into January and possibly even into February. Meanwhile, New Zealand versus the dollar, same story, different day. Also went down, basically got here a little too quickly, so I am expecting to see a little bit of pull-up. That pull-up that I'm expecting to see will try to pull it to about that 69.37 area. And then after that, we will have to see where it is. So we're watching, and we're definitely diligently trying to make sure that we are playing with this. New Zealand, as far as foreign Forex goes and the foreign exchange market, is one of the cheapest pairs to play because versus the US dollar, it's literally only 68 cents So versus like, for example, let me show you. Let's see. Yeah, right there, 68 cents versus the AUD USDs of the worlds and um, the Euro USD is $1.13, 68 cents. The Great British Pound versus the US dollar. All those guys in there, they are higher and cost more to play, which means you will get definitely more money if you're playing the New Zealand dollar or the Aussie dollar against the US dollar in almost any market. The same thing is true. So as we continue down this list, I'm going to switch to the euro and see how the euro is doing. The euro basically made it all the way to the third deviation on the weekly time frame, but him being that low also still has him very deep in this sweet spot for our probability of actually seeing more down, which means guess what? It definitely can do it. For the sell trend to remain intact, it has to go back up and touch at least 113.59 for the swing traders. And that should literally put us somewhere over here. And then we have to see if it'll actually make it over that 113.61 area. If it can, then we actually get an uptrend. If not, expect more down from the euro. The euro's been having quite a rough time on the 4-hour chart and needs a little bit of relief. And now I want to see if it'll actually break above that 113.41, 59, and 61 area to basically get us where we need to go. Looking at how SR is basically running out of probability, looks like it's going to find a very, very tough wall about 114 if it makes it up there, and then come right back down. Meanwhile, the Japanese yen. The yen is also trying to pick itself back up. It had a very rough prior 2 weeks, and then this last week it came out swinging and pulling up. Even going into the 4-hour chart, it gapped up Friday and basically said, "Yeah, we're going up and we're getting above this. Let's keep going." He has the ability to make it back up to about 89.68, which should allow anything fighting with the Japanese yen, which is like the US dollar versus the Japanese yen. Because the Japanese yen did jump like that, that really hurt the US dollar, which is why we had that pullback. So the US versus the Japanese yen basically lost almost $2 in that fall Friday, as basically the yen gained and the dollar was losing value. So looking at that, I don't believe we got any crosses, no, but we did get a Z over here. So I am expecting the dollar to recover and the yen to basically give up a little bit more. If you've been following USD MXN and earlier this week when it was up here, it was at 2064. I called the buy on it and we're watching it and watching it do what it's doing. This guy is sitting way up there and he basically has to give about 50 or so cents to make this make sense, because technically we're out of bounds on the RSI band and saying that basically we have to come back into probability. That pullback that I'm expecting to see should put us somewhere near that compass line, which it puts us directly right on top of the compass line on the 4-hour chart. And basically we are just going to see if it can hold that. If it can hold that, we keep riding. As long as it maintains its speed, it will never run out of space. We did get some Z's over here and a Z as well as a cross on a 15-minute chart saying we should have left. But if we did, we made out okay. If we didn't, then well, we set through a little bit of pullback. But once again, that's for the 15-minute chart, not for the 4-hour chart. If I set this guy for the 4-hour chart, those both disappear, and we are sitting just fine. Okay, so this is when it's set higher. This is where those crosses would appear over here, and basically it actually did trip over here, but then it tripped again over here. So yeah, it might be time to take profit and see if we can get in at that 2154-ish area to continue this uptrend. Some rules I like to basically lay out when I'm trading, and basically things get to the point where they get this high. A lot of people get that fear of missing out, so they never take profit. What I typically do at this particular type of situation, I say, for example, I took profit. If I did take profit, it has to reset, which means I have to get the band to turn back red and then turn back green to get me back into the trade. If I don't get any type of reset or a red X or anything that basically says, okay, you can get back in, then I don't jump back in. If I'm also playing this without those, I look for the most recent high, and if it can get above the most recent high, that's where I jump in. So basically somewhere over here, I would have missed all of this and got back in right here, and a few candles later would have told me to get out once again. All right. Looking at Euro, once again, Euro USD, I'm expecting a little bit of a bounce, and we were possibly seeing it already on the 4-hour time frame. Getting that bounce, it got to 3 deviations on this particular band. That's for the 15-minute chart. So we might see it come back off, or might try to actually just plow through the arbitrage band on the 4-hour time frame. I do want to see it come back to up around 116, truth be told, before continuing down, because that will keep all things in line and basically allow it to continue its down track for the next few months. If it does not, however, touch that blue line, then basically we can be interrupted somewhere midstream. It may have just a one last push, and basically we'd miss a little bit of the downside. But at the same time, we didn't risk everything sitting this far down in probability. I'd rather have the odds with me than basically depend on the 2 or 3% that might be left in the sell trend. So waiting this guy out. I want to see that red dollar sign appear to let me know that that pullback is coming. And then once that happens, then we'll see what we do next from there. Meanwhile, NZD JPY, this guy has been flirting with danger quite literally for the last 2, 3, 4 months. Basically, he got down, and as soon as we thought he was going to go down, he basically said, no, I'm going to give you a couple candles going in the wrong direction, and then say, yeah, we're going to go down again, and then did the exact same thing and pushed his way back all the way up to, I want to say 82, 83, yeah, 82.56. And then in short order, because we were out of probability and that Z was there, and this is the weekly time frame, he came all the way back down. We got an O here. So basically people are still wanting down, but we're not in the sweet spot, and we got an O, which means he got here too quickly. I am expecting a little bit of a bounce on this guy, and not expecting him to continue down. I'm expecting him to actually bounce here because of that O. He got here too quickly. If that O wasn't there, I'd have a different opinion. But because that O is there, it basically pushed its luck on one of the other bands, and I don't want to be a part of those shenanigans. EUR JPY. EUR JPY. See, this is what I like to see, where you just have your X. I'm underneath my sweet spot. There's no O here. So I'm expecting the Euro versus the Japanese yen to continue down. The Friday close basically had to come up and touch that line, which means it satisfied that 129. It had to satisfy, and basically now we're just set to fall. Worst case scenario is about 126.18.2 for this week. Best case scenario is somewhere around 129.21. So I am expecting definitely more down from where we're currently sitting. All our odds and probabilities say more down. So EJ definitely down. Meanwhile, GJ basically pushed its luck about 5 or 6 weeks ago. About 5 or 6 weeks ago, maybe even 7 weeks ago. It said, hey, yeah, go try this. And I'm like, I'm not trying this. I never take a buy trend when it's that close to the edge. And basically it pushed up hard that following week. And basically I took it from 151 all the way to 157. So there was about 600 pips in this surprise candle that showed up. And then basically I did nothing. But as soon as it drew an X on my chart, said, okay, now it's the time to add a stack here because I was in at this one and basically not playing this one. So I didn't take profit when that guy showed up because he was sitting there. So I got to take a 600 pip ride up and then basically make all 600 of those pips as it came back down. And basically it's sitting underneath. So now I'm back in my original position and I'm watching this guy touch the sweet spot. I do see this, so I'm probably not going to stack right here, but I am going to watch this guy to see if he can break underneath this point to get us there. I don't like seeing 65 and 86% on these bands over here on the shorter term time frame, and seeing that basically, I'm in a position. I'm right at about break even, and basically I made 600 pips on the way back down. So right now, I guess I'm just playing with house money or my money because it technically is still my money. It's saying that it's going to have to go back up and touch 152.12.4 before it can go down. I'm willing to ride that ride. Basically, I've been in 5-6 weeks already. I have made money as it went up. I'm not as it went up, but as it came back down. So it's just another day at the office. Nothing to see here, guys. EUR, AUD, yes. So basically, this guy did a head fake on a lot of people. He said, yeah, I'm going down. Yeah, I'm in the sweet spot. And then came, let's see, the 25th of this week, about 4 o'clock, he took off like a madman. So he went from 156 all the way back up to 158. There was 200 and something pips in that guy. I was not riding this guy. Anytime it's not in the danger zone, I'm not riding it. Anytime it says it's going in one direction and it is in the danger zone, I'm not riding it. So it has to be going the direction it's supposed to say it's to be going, as well as being the danger zone. If both are true, then I enter the trade. So looking at this guy, he is a weak uptrend right now on the weekly time frame. He is saying that he's overbought, but the compass line is still underneath the RSI line. So this guy is still a sell, even though we got this. So basically he pushed up. That one candle does not make a trend. It just means we got there too quickly. We do see that on the shorter time frame, we're sitting 3 standard deviations up on the RSI and arbitrage band, which means you got to pull back. There has to be a pullback on this guy. I want to see him. If it were me, I would want to see him pull back to somewhere around 157.16 before trying to touch this trade again. And that basically means I ran out of probability. I gave back almost half this candle, but at the same time, that it would still allow me to still drift up and still possibly have more of an uptrend. Meanwhile, GBP AUD, because remember, if AUD is going down, anything opposing AUD, that would be EUR AUD and GBP AUD, those guys should be going up. So basically, he did do what he was supposed to do. He had a green X. It was a weak uptrend, but it was still an uptrend. And basically, all last week he went up. Looking at this guy on the 4-hour time frame, he can make it up to about 188 on this guy. The arbitrage band says, yeah, it's steady as she goes. We're sitting where we're supposed to be. Weekly time frame says we're a go. Everything is above where automation would technically enter the trade on this daily time frame / weekly time frame. So yeah, I would definitely be playing GBP AUD up this week. Let's go take a look at some stocks now. All right. And this is a mixed bag of things. Not sure if you guys know, realize, or pay attention to, but anytime there is a horrendously red day in the market, that means, one, I'm trying to plan for it, and two, I'm trying to release an indicator on it. And I warned at the very beginning of the week, going into Thanksgiving, that I was going to be releasing Dash 2.0, which I have released. And I did release it Friday, and the market went down about 2 or so percent. So I lost over $10. Right now, we're in a precarious spot, though, because it's saying I'm both overbought and oversold, which means when I started the week, I basically shot the moon and then basically gave it all back and then fell so far that basically I shouldn't have been able to fall that far in such a short period. Typically, those are not good. Typically, when that happens, the direction does not stay. And I know I said this going in, and it did exactly what I expected. I said it would basically be flat. So basically, it went up, it went down, but more or less, it stayed in the same range. So basically, we're exactly where we are going. I am still expecting more drift. So basically, as we go, I'm expecting it to be able to not to cross over this line more or less as the RSI line runs out of space somewhere over here, and the compass and the momentum line come to meet it somewhere over here. I think basically we're going to drift into a sell trend over the longer haul. All right. Okay. Okay. No problem. I got you, Steve. I'll circle back for that. All right. So looking at QQQ, we're looking at this guy as well. He did throw dollar signs about 2-3 weeks ago, but he is still above the sweet spot. He's testing the sweet spot this week. So that means we may see some more down, or we may just see basically sideways. Typically, the markets get really slow. The U.S. markets get really slow around the holidays because everyone goes on holidays, and the algorithms just trade the market while everyone else is vacationing. So if that were to be the case, then so Crow is moving. That's one of the alerts that send the new dash. So it crossed over, and I'll show you guys that in a second. So that means looks like Crow is actually trying to make a move again. Hopefully, guys picked it back up. If you're following me on Facebook, I said pick it back up. I think at about 74, 75 cents yesterday. It made it up to about 82 cents. It even made it back down to 68 cents. So you had lots of opportunities to pick it up. It may actually even be back over 75, if I'm remembering or saw correctly. Yeah, it's right over 75 again. So yeah, this guy is moving all over the place. Arbitrage is projecting this guy to be somewhere near about $17 by midsummer of 2022. So if you want to grab some, grab some. If you don't, then don't. There are definitely many other cryptocurrencies out there to play. Going back to my blue list, we're gonna go look at Dax. Dax, man, he did not perform like I expected at all. I was expecting sideways motion because he basically had touched the top. He touched the top and said, "Nope, that's not what we're gonna do." As a matter of fact, that's what we're not gonna do. We're done. And for literally the next 4 or 5 days, he basically kept pushing and pushing and pushing down. He lost over 665 points on Friday. And even though now he says that he is in a sell off, that push has put him underneath that sweet spot, which means basically probability is going to try to keep him there and basically force a downtrend to now happen for the DAX using the daily time frame over the next duration. How far will it go? I'm not sure. Typically, when playing this, I like to pick it up somewhere near the bottom of the arbitrage band. But depending on where this arbitrage band is in relation to the novice band, we might be in for a lot of surprises. Looks like the novice band is topping out. That's not good. So the bend that basically you're seeing here is basically anytime you see a band bend in our system, that means its neighboring band is forcing it to do something. And yeah, so DAX basically has been pushing its luck, been sideways for the better part of 2021. He basically gave up once, was able to hold this intermediate band. And then basically, this is our second attempt to get underneath the novice band, which is the center line of this uh, cyan blue or dark blue, or not dark blue, but lighter blue here. And basically, it's not looking pretty because of where we are. We are in the danger zone on this band. Let me turn that on. Danger zone and deflection. Yeah, we are definitely in the danger zone on this intermediate band. So we are definitely going to see some more down from this guy in the very near future. He positioned himself well for it. For the people who are being opportunistic, and you can be, there is going to be a little bit of a pullback, pardon me. And basically, I'm not expecting it to get above the 15,679 because you run out of probability on the 15-minute chart there, and that should force us to continue back down. But that is still about 400 points to the other side if you are willing to try to take that ride. And that's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, it gets stopped by any of the lines in between. So just be careful and basically mind what you're doing. I'm going to go look at a couple of other guys I always look at when I'm over here. Let's see. I'm going to add that to my chart. I'm going to add AutoZone back to my chart. International paper. And CVM, Wish, and let's see, one more. Who was it? RMED. There we go. Because I know some of you guys are playing that guy as well. So looking at AutoZone, and let's go back to our arbitrage band. Basically, he called the Z out here on our daily time frame saying, yep, we're not going to do it. And that Z, it did it twice, even 3 times. It's like, yeah, you keep pushing your luck. Right now, he's sitting on top of the RSI. And basically, I do not like when my Z Pro is about to go negative. When it's about to go negative, things have to happen, which means the fact on the weekly time frame, if I go up to this guy, on the weekly time frame, we are looking at, he's saying he has to touch 1566 before the uptrend will be viable. So basically, I'm expecting to see AutoZone over the next few months push towards this 1566 before being able to do anything else in that respect. Looking at international paper, basically, they did go into a downtrend right at the very beginning of October, and right now they're bouncing off of the middle of the arbitrage band, but we're still sitting in a sweet spot for the sell. Automation would automatically have us not sitting in this guy right now, and basically saying that there's resistance at about $49. But we are sitting at over a 45% chance of more down on the 4-hour time frame where we're currently sitting. So watching this guy, he is a bit low. That Z Pro score is a bit high for negative probability. So that means I am expecting a little bit of a bounce here. But overall, because of where Z Pro is sitting, I'm expecting definitely more down. If I were to try to pick up international paper on this particular time frame and band, I would look at somewhere around 40.61 as my average end price to try to pick up some of that. Meanwhile, CVM, all kinds of this way and that. Pardon me. The RSI on the weekly has gone positive, believe it or not. And basically, Z Pro is still trying its best to pull but the arbitrage band is not quite there. So I mean, we don't have any good evidence that an uptrend is happening for this guy yet. We do see from where we had this ugly, gruesome candle that Z Pro has been drifting, 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 and now it's sitting on the weak side of a downtrend. So basically, it's basically because it's just drifting and not going down. That act of not going down is forcing it to drift and possibly will force us into an uptrend, which a lot of people are wanting to see. Looking at this guy, because of this drift on the daily, basically he did drift back up from the long fall, and basically because he did not drift, he jumped from $8 to $12. That allowed this black line to jump back to the top, which is also forcing us to have another down. So watching this guy, we're wanting to see that this RSI line over the next few weeks travels back down to around that $10 area. So that means I'm expecting just more sideways, more or less, over the next couple of weeks or so. And then we're going to wind up back at the bottom, and we should be able to get that up. The reason I say that, because once again, history always repeats itself. We're just getting over the center of the arbitrage band because of that ugly fall. Basically, this ripple effect, this fall, ripples here, ripple there, and eventually the novice band will also see that ripple somewhere around here as we continue to go up from it. All right, Wish, this guy basically came up, tested his luck, and basically has not been able to pull himself up. So on the on a daily time frame, he basically said, yes, we're going to the buy, and that was on earnings. And then as soon as that happened, he said, you know what, never mind. And basically turned, gave us an X, and then slowly fell off the face of the planet. We're currently seeing this guy. We're looking for our red dollar sign over here to basically give us more up. And on this time frame, we are definitely looking for more up. But basically, it's playing a patience game with everybody because it is more than time for this guy to rise. And so basically, as long as you have some, you should have no regrets in the next few months. All right. RMED. This guy also started out so well, started the year doing absolutely wonderful things, and then basically lost his mind. He basically got over that $9 and some change, and then had a rough rest of the year. He has already made it down, gave us our dollar sign, gave us our red dollar sign. We do see him sitting down here. We do want to see him justify this 381 sell in danger. So that means from 245, he has to make it back up to that 381 at least. So him doing that should allow us to see more green in the very near future. So basically, if you haven't given up on this guy, don't give up on him. And basically, you will be rewarded quite handsomely in the next few months as he continues to go up. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap this up? We got about 4 minutes. Oh yeah, I have to go back and circle back for Steve Schwartz's Ethereum question. All right, so we did have a nice little up here. Basically, it's testing, and let me turn off the arbitrage band really quickly. The candle itself is testing the RSI line for the advanced band, so at that 42.14 area. The only problem I see with this is when I turn on the wall, yeah, you broke past the wall with that move. That move is going to be knee-jerk and rejected. Because what's going on is, if I brought this down to the 15-minute chart, basically from where we're sitting and how we're looking at this guy, he should not be able to sustain this because these guys are over 100%. So I'm expecting either a Z or something to show up over here as he comes back in and us to basically descend from that point, Steve. So, yeah, wish I had better news, but yeah, I don't think, and I don't see it getting over that. So definitely seeing basically it succumb on the weekly time frame. The compass line has made it under. The momentum line is also under. The sweet spot for this guy is saying, "Hey, I'm weak," but it's a strong week on this time frame. So I am expecting more or less Ethereum to continue to sink. So don't get caught up in basically big candles that happen and basically run out of steam. So just be careful with that. All right. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Appreciate you guys from joining, and we will see you again soon. Abdul should be on in about 2 hours to give you his forecast for Forex. And I think either Joseph or Vlad or someone's supposed to be also on later tonight, giving their synopsis on different stocks and options. Appreciate you guys, and we will catch you soon. Have a great one.